Welcome to this instructional video on how to prepare a sample for the Optometrics SPF-290S Sunscreen Analyzer. In this video, we'll go through the step-by-step process required to prepare a sample properly. There are three basic steps to preparing a sample. They are: load the syringe, prepare the substrate, dispense and spread the sample. In this brief presentation, we'll demonstrate techniques for dealing with standard formulations such as lotions, thick formulations such as lip balms, and for thin formulations such as oils. We'll also demonstrate the use of transport tape and quartz plates as substrates. Finally, we'll go over measuring the sample out and properly applying it to the substrate. Let's begin. First, load a syringe with the lotion to be tested. Depending on the viscosity of the sample, different techniques can be employed. The first technique, discussed here, is applicable for most formulations. With the tip off of the syringe, ensure the plunger is depressed all the way into the syringe. Dip the tip into the formulation and slowly pull the plunger up, drawing the sample up into it. It may be necessary to move the tip around in the formulation to prevent air bubbles from getting into the syringe. Bubbles can sometimes be removed if the formulation is thin enough by pointing the syringe up and flicking it with the finger. If this does not work, push the bubbles out with the plunger and start again. Put the tip on the syringe. Depress the plunger until the tip is filled and the plunger is on a major division. Clean any excess formulation off the outside of the syringe. For thin liquids, the same procedure can be used with the tip on. Once the syringe is full enough, tip up and check for bubbles. Depress the plunger until it is on a major division. For very thick formulations with the tip off and the plunger removed, thick samples can be spooned or paddled into the top of the syringe. Take care to avoid air bubbles. Then, follow the steps for most formulations as previously described. Now, let's discuss how to prepare the sample holder using 3M's transport tape. Note: it is recommended that on a new roll of tape, the first 3 feet and last 3 feet of a roll of tape not be used. First, stretch the tape over the sample holder. Start at the thin end, the top of the holder, and overlap the tape a bit. The excess can be removed later. Smooth the tape down so it is well secured. The crosshatch pattern within the tape is a good guide to use for getting the tape straight. Draw the tape out taut and lay it over the wide end of the holder, ensuring that the tape is well centered and free of wrinkles or sags. Smooth the tape down and tear excess off both top and bottom. If you're using the quartz plates instead of transport tape, be sure to examine the plates and ensure that they are clean and dry before applying the sample. Now we're ready to apply the sample. The area to which the sample is to be applied is a 50 centimeter square centered on the tape and in the opening. To achieve a thickness of 2 microliters per square centimeter, apply 100 microliters of formulation to the area. To do this, dispense the sample lightly in evenly spaced rows of very small, less than or equal to 1 millimeter diameter dots. A successful technique has been to space approximately 5 rows of dots so that the first row is near the top of the area and the last one is near the bottom. Then, go back and fill in rows in between so that when the last of the 100 microliters is dispensed, there are at least 100 dots of sample evenly distributed throughout the area. Notice that 100 microliters have now been dispensed. Next, wearing a powder-free finger cot or glove, gently spread the dots out into as uniform a thickness as possible, swiping alternately vertically and horizontally. Hold the sample holder up to the light or against a dark background to determine uniformity. Allow to dry for 15 minutes. A countdown timer is helpful for this. Once the sample is dry, it is ready to be placed in the analyzer. For more information on this and other Optometrics products, visit us online at www.optometrics.com.